Hey guys, I'm Nicky Romero, a DJ producer from the Netherlands, and today we are in the Instigate studios talking about sidechaining. Now, what is it used for? What do you use it for? And when do you actually use it? Now, I assume most of you guys are DJs, producers, music lovers, no matter what, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it and how to apply it. So, you know those tracks you're listening in the car or maybe in your bedroom, maybe in clubs where the kick has a really free space, where it feels like the kick is standing out of the rest. That nice round punch, all of that can be achieved with the right mix and sidechaining. Now, sidechaining itself is not magic, but over the years I made a lot of songs and I found out that sidechaining can be really complicated. But it doesn't have to be complicated because there are many different ways to apply it really easy. And one of those ways is Kickstart. It's a plugin that we developed with Cableguys, and over the years, I saw all these different bands and friends, DJs, artists, even singers, vocalists start using the plugin. I was really surprised and I got inspired to in what you can use the plugin for. So let's dive in and let's show you what it's all about. When you open Kickstart, you'll have one big knob. This is the wet, dry knob, as we say it. The more you apply it, the more sidechain will be applied to your sound. Now, most of the times I find myself using it for 80%, because if you would put it 100%, it's going to sound like too harsh, or it's going to be pulled out of the mix too much. So most of the times I would just use it on 80%. Unless it's a kick drum you want to short, or a bass, a sub bass that you really want to aggressively duck on the kick drum. The rest I just use it for 80% or maybe even less. When you use it on vocals and you want to have vocals blend in, you can even use it only for 20% or 25%, where you have feeling that the vocal blends in the rhythm of the kick drum. A couple of different presets, you know, depending on what you use it for. Do you want to use it only on the bass? You can go really aggressive. You want to use it on a short sound. You can go really easy on it, like for example, sub bass tight is one of the presets, one of the last ones. You can apply it at 100% because it will just do the work on the bass, and it will duck the bass on the moment when the kick is playing. And when you have a sub bass, you really don't want to have it playing at the same time as the kick drum. So depending per situation, you can click a preset and apply wet or dry and how much of it. So like I said, I really like to use it only for 80% most of the time because it really makes it sound natural. So let's go over a few different functions else but the presets. A lot of people don't know that you can actually shift a little bit of the waveform, as you can see, using the arrows. You can also, if you want to have the timing a little different, you can just slide it over to the left or slide it over to the right. There's also a note difference. You can use 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1/1. Which means it's really the pattern that the sidechain is working on. We have an advanced settings tab. This is where you can set how to MIDI trigger, or if you want to have it synced to your BPM, or if you want to re-trigger it. But I'll get into these things a little later. So for now, I put it on a kick drum. How would you set it up? Well, then you want to have the opposite effect of a sidechain. If you look at my screen, you'll see there is a waveform that is really cutting things off after a certain amount of time. Now, what happens? You can make it like really short, or you can just loosen it up a little bit. And this way you have a lot of control over your kick drum. Now, let's go to the bass, because the bass has a different approach. We take it off from the kick, we go to the bass. So if I take it off, it's going to sound really weird because the beginning of one of the layers is a kind of cracky. But also like the whole rhythm changes. So now let's put on a kick drum. And we're going to put on the sidechain. Instantly it gets vibe, it gets a rhythm, and it also blends in much better. Now, how do you approach the bass? So as you can see, maximize it here to 100, and it really makes it feel like it's dancing. For me personally, I would separate the bass in two different groups, the sub bass and the mid-high bass. So the mid-high bass gets a different sidechain than the sub bass. So, but that's just, you know, my preference. You can do it the way you want it. Really easily done with the big knob here. Just taking the nice and tight preset or free punch, it really depends on your own taste. Going to the drums, it's interesting because a lot of people also use it on drums. I saw a video of Timbaland, for example, using it on his very famous shakers, where he adds like rhythm to the shakers by just applying it for like 10 or 20%. So if you use it on a head loop, for example, or shaker loop, you can just add flavor or rhythm to the loop even more than already the instruments are doing by just making it dance. And this way it blends even better in the entire mix. So if I would take a loop, let's see if I can find one. Let's take it off. Now, because of the shuffle, there's already a velocity difference in the loop itself. You can add a little extra by putting a sidechain on it and making it blend really easy. So let's put it up to 100%. You'll hear it's a little bit too much, and it's going to sound unnatural. So let's do half of it. And you get that nice blend. Play with the kick drum. And you'll hear that it easily blends in with the rest. There's no magic trick. It really is your own preference and the way that you like it. I believe making music is art. Therefore, it really has no rules on what's good or what's bad. It really is about what you think is best for your song. So diving into the lead sounds. So talking about leads, it's a frequently asked question. How do you process and especially sidechain leads? Now, I think the first thing you need to determine is what is the rhythm of your song. Is it 4 to the floor? Then you can just pick one of these presets here. And if it is a more like a free floating project, you just go to one shot and you link it to a bus, and therefore you can give it a MIDI trigger. To link it, I'm working in Logic, and in Logic is not really easy to link things most of the times, but working in Ableton or Fruity Loops might work different for you. But you just have to select an input, and the MIDI trigger is sending it to that input, and then it will apply it to your bass automatically. So going to the MIDI trigger, you'll see I just draw these notes on the 1, and that's exactly what it will do in Kickstart. But I can also double time it, and you'll see what happens. You see? So you can draw whatever you like, and it will duck it automatically without extremely weird routings or settings. So that in a nutshell is the functionality of Kickstart. And yes, there are 100 ways to sidechain, and you can really pick your own preference. For me, after all those years, I realized I need an easy way to sidechain. And for me, Kickstart really did that, applicable on every kind of instrument, on every kind of genre, every kind of track. I've been really surprised over the years, like who uses it. A lot of friends of mine are using it, but also a lot of bands that I'm just inspired to listen and I never met are using the plugin right now. So yeah, there really always is a solution within Kickstart for your track when it comes to sidechaining. Maybe try it out for yourself. You can try it for free also, going to nickyromero.com. Just try it out. If it works for you, that's great. If it doesn't work for you, no sweat. Yeah. I'm really interested also in what kind of sounds you guys are making yourself. Don't forget, if you put out a song, you use Kickstart, upload it to demo.protocolrecordings.com because it might be something that we can release for you too. So yeah, go to kickstart-plugin.com. Nicky Romero signing off. You guys have a great day.